So now I'm giving you a more complex problem. It's really not that much more complex. I want you to read through it carefully. The code's not all that hard, and I bet you can figure out 99% of it. But what I'm going to ask you to do is, what does this application actually accomplish? And again, the code is really giving it away, but it's funny. So are the variables. That's why we want you to name the variables appropriately. So I bet you can figure it out, and you might not even know exactly what every piece of code is doing. I bet you can figure it out. Number two, I want you to, you can write it on paper. You don't need to create a text file of this, but I want you to create a sample data file that would work with this. So here's the thing. I'm giving you the code. You got to figure out what file would actually work with this. So we have to worry about order. We have to worry about if it's one line or many lines. Is there a pattern? All these things you have to worry about. So this actually, number two is going to be more interesting than maybe number one. Prove me wrong. So what does this do? So first of all, we have an in file that's going to open up grades.txt, and we know that we're reading from it with an R. So we also look like we have a couple of variables set up. It looks like we're going to have scores and a count. Looks like also that this file is going to have some type of pattern in it because we're using a for loop. I know some classes we're not allowed to try except, but they're there anyway. So we're going to try to, looks like we're going to strip the line. Oh, it looks like the line's only going to have one thing in it because we're not using a list like data or something like that. So it looks like it's going to be only one value. We're going to change it to a float, and we're going to keep with the plus equals there that we have right there. We're going to go ahead and keep adding up the scores every time that we're reading through the loop. But it also looks like count. There's our count. So notice count is plus equals 1. It's just an incrementation. We didn't get it from the line at all. There's no line anywhere in this with count. It's just count itself. So that's okay. Let's see here. Okay, so the total score was, well, that's the accumulation of all the scores that we went through the line. So notice that for loop's going to end right before that print statement. So reading in the entire time. Once we're done, then we go on to the rest of the segment here. So we're going to print the total scores and then the number of lines. These are most likely debugging statements. And then we close the in file. So we're done with reading in. Oh, looks like we're going to create an out file, out.file.open results.txt, and we are definitely, a little too far there. We're writing to it with a W, and then looks like out file.write a string of the scores. Oh, so we're doing a calculation, and we're writing that. What is it? Looks like it's going to be the average. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the average. And then we're going to write that out to the file results.txt. So results.txt is only going to have one piece of data with it, and that's it. So that's okay. That's fine. But that's what this application is doing.